Hi, my name is Jolie, and I'm the Director of Innovative STEM Teaching at the Science Center of Iowa. For my job, I get to work with a lot of fabulous teachers all across the state, but my two favorite teachers are Mr. and Mrs. Beckman from my days as a student at Valley High School. Mr. Beckman was my 9th grade earth science teacher, and the thing I remember most about that class was having fun while we were learning about science. Mrs. Beckman was my chemistry teacher. I had a lot of anxiety around chemistry, but she helped me to see how it related to biology, which is what I studied in college. Both of these teachers were influential to me, and I recently was able to catch up with them at a conference, this time as a colleague, not as a student. So to both Mr. and Mrs. Beckman, I want to say thank you. Thank you for inspiring me to myself become a science teacher and to show me how important it is, the relationship of a caring teacher to their student. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick, and I'm with the Science Center of Iowa. My main role is to oversee our youth and family programming, but I also assist with program development, data analysis, and equity and access work. Today we're talking about our favorite teachers, and I have to be honest, I had some pretty amazing teachers when I was in school. Mrs. Johnson in 2nd grade, Mrs. Malloy, Mrs. Hilsebeck, Mrs. Ware, Mr. Gardner. Actually, a funny story about Mr. Gardner is that not only did he teach me and my older sister, but he also taught my mom. Yep. But I would say that my favorite teacher was Mrs. Alita Cassidy. Mrs. Cassidy was our business teacher in high school, and she had a great way of bringing the fun into business. And even though I went into the sciences, I can still appreciate her love of a great spreadsheet. So to you, Mrs. Cassidy, and to all of our educators, thank you.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm the Director of Marketing and Public Relations at the Science Center of Iowa. My job is to take all of the cool stuff that's happening at the Science Center and all of the cool science stuff that's happening around the world and communicate it to the public. So while I may not have majored in science in college, I have always had a love for learning. And that's why my favorite teachers are my parents. They're both formally trained teachers, but for me, they were just informal educators, people who encouraged me to ask questions, to be curious, and to always embrace my inner nerd. They also taught me the joy of teaching others, and that's why I love what I do to this very day. So thank you to my favorite teachers, Mr. and Mrs. Richardson, Mom and Dad.
Hi everyone, my name is Dan and I work in the Science Learning Division at the Science Center of Iowa. What I do is help develop some of that educational programming that you might see at the Science Center. If you see people walking around in lab coats talking about really cool stuff, I'm one of those people. Now, my favorite teacher growing up was Mr. Sweeney LaBarge, and he taught all of our environmental science and ecology classes. I loved all those classes. I learned so much from him. I learned about ecology and environmental science, but I learned about how important it was to understand science and how important it was to conserve our natural resources. And if it weren't for him, I probably wouldn't have gone to college to study specifically science, get my bachelor's in science in ecology, and I probably wouldn't be working at the Science Center as well if it weren't for him.
My name is Shane, and at the Science Center I get to manage our camps program as well as help write some of our STEM content for events that we hold on site. My favorite teacher was from my high school days at Lex High in Lexington, Nebraska. Go Minutemen and Minute Maids. And his name was Mr. Joka, and he taught a class called Passages, and he was also my cross country and track coach as well. So saw a lot of Mr. Joka, and he saw an awful lot of me. The reason Mr. Joka was my favorite teacher was his class and his when he was our coach, he placed just as high of an importance on our social and emotional learning as he did on our academic learning or our athletic pursuits or performance. And he really showed me what it means to really go above and beyond and be there for a student or an athlete, and really started laying the foundation for the educator who I am today. So thank you, Mr. Joka.
My name is Renee Scholl-Harmon, and I'm the Vice President of Science Learning at the Science Center of Iowa. There are a host of teachers who top my list of favorites. In fact, collectively, they inspired me to become a teacher myself. I think about Mrs. Dawson and Mrs. Holtgrew, who inspired my love of the written word, Mr. Fleming, who challenged me to think beyond my backyard and my impact in the entire world, Mrs. Abbott, who I couldn't wait to see on Monday morning to find out what book she had chosen for us to read. And in fact, my very favorite teacher was Mr. Salter. He was my high school chemistry teacher, and I was not a chemistry superstar. But he made me believe that I could be a chemistry superstar. He challenged me to ask a lot of questions, to work really hard, and he helped me understand that with hard work and commitment, anything was obtainable. Today, I'm grateful for those teachers and the impact on my journey. And I'm also thankful for every teacher who chooses the journey to inspire minds and care and nurture for the hearts of our students.